Hey everybody, Daily News Sports Editor Eric Grover here, and we've got another Grovcast extra this week. Well, if you're following along in the sports pages, or if you've made it down to John Randall Field for a game, you know just how good the Wahpeton Post 20 baseball team is. They are absolutely annihilating opponents and are looking strong as they make the surge into the playoffs. I had a chance to sit down with Coach Chris Kappes the other day to talk about some of the nightmares of the past, how good it is right now in the present, and how good the future can be. How would you characterize the way that you guys have been playing baseball so far?
Well, we're far from perfect. We've posted a good record. We've had some real good streaks in games, but for playing complete games, we've probably played a handful of complete games. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you're up by several runs on teams, it's real easy to sit back and get on your heels a little bit. Mm-hmm. But that's where we have to become a mentally strong team and continue to focus each and every pitch, defensively and offensively, and until the game is complete. Yeah. So we have things to work on and continue to improve. And our goal by the end of the season is to have all that put together.
You were there at state when they fell short. How much did that motivate those guys to play the way they are right now?
Well, you're talking about this year's high school team?
Yeah.
Okay. They've had a taste of it. They've had state tournaments now, last high school season, last Legion season, this high school season. Mm-hmm. So they have the blood. They've tasted the blood. It's in their mouth, and it makes them hungrier. They're getting close. They're getting close, and their goal is to win a state championship. Mm-hmm. As long as everyone's goal should be, to start a season off. You're always shooting for that, but realistically, teams to put a ball club together to win a state tournament doesn't come around very often. Mm-hmm. And these guys know they have the potential, they have the ability, and they're hungry.
Yeah. Last year, you guys kicked ass too, and then you were the very first team out.
We did, and we talk about that all the time. Going into the state tournament last year, we were 36-3, and we went 0-2. We beat ourselves 2 games, probably played our worst 2 games of the season. We played tight. We played nervous, and there was no reason to do that. We should have walked into state as the best team, which we may have been. Mm-hmm. But bottom line, we dropped two games, and the good thing, and we talked about it from the last out on that day, that we returned every player this season, along with adding a couple players in Alex Lunenberg and a Carson Miller. Mm-hmm. And the guys are hungry. They want to get back there again, and it's not going to be an easy road. I'm a firm believer that 2 of the top teams in the state this year come out of the same section, and that's ours, between us and Kindred. Mm-hmm. So we need to not look too far ahead. We need to put ourselves in a position to get the number 1 seed in the section going into that tournament. Yeah. And we need to get out of that tournament, and then we'll turn the chapter and we'll focus on state if we're able to get to that. Yeah. and go from there.
Kindred is your biggest rival in the section.
Yeah, no question.
You guys just went down there and took 2 off them. JB said that you guys didn't play very well.
We didn't play very well at all that night.
You still won.
We did. And a lot of that credit, and the majority of that credit, goes to the way Preston Cath threw that game. Mm-hmm. Preston threw a heck of a ball game, and we played defense behind them, and we generated just enough to scratch across to run. We left several guys on. We had opportunities to make that probably a 4 or 5 nothing ball game. Mm-hmm. But a ball game like that isn't such a bad thing for us either. Playing in a tight baseball game like that, where it comes down to pitching and defense. I'd like to see our guys come through with a few better at-bats and a few more clutch hits, but those ball games are kind of fun to sit and be part of too.
Pitching depth has to be your biggest strength. I mean, you got a guy like JB, who was an all-star last year, an all-state player, haven't even really needed to use him.
Right. Well, we're continuing to, we don't want to rush JB, we're continuing to monitor his progression on his arm. He's feeling pretty well. I think he's thrown about 6-7 innings for us so far this summer, and he's going to get his first start here on Tuesday night against Dilworth. Okay. We probably won't use him a lot, maybe looking at 3, maybe 4 innings. and we want to save him for the tournament coming up that weekend in Devil's Lake. So we're going to probably need a couple innings out of him then also. But our goal with him is to keep working him and to get his arm strength built up to where it comes tournament time he can throw a game if need be.
Yeah. I assume that you have looked very closely at these stats. They are unbelievable.
Well,
just unbelievable. I mean, you guys, 210 runs, a .513 team on base percentage. That's unbelievable.
Batting about 400 as a team.
Yeah.
Our ERA is around 2.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
When you look at those numbers, what does that tell you?
I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't look at the numbers too much because the numbers I'm focused on mainly is our win and loss numbers.
Well, that's pretty good.
I know that we have guys who are having fairly good seasons. Matter of fact, if you ask those guys, a lot of them are telling you they need to improve, and they should. We should never be happy with where we're at. We should always continue to try to get better. But yeah, we have some good numbers we're posting, no question about it. I'm not going to sit and beat around the bush with that. But what it comes down to is we have such a deep, talented team. We have 13 ball players on our team. We have 18 full rostered when we bring some of our younger guys up. But with our core team, 13 players, I can close my eyes and I could pick out a starting 9. We're not going to lose a beat. But right now we have things, fairly set. Guys understand their role on the team. You take a Cooper Krause, and he is a heck of a bat off the bench, or in a pitch hitting situation, or as a DH. You take an Ethan or Seth Mead, and you can plug them in several spots, and they're spark plugs. You take a Kelly Carney, who's just got the world's best attitude. He's a fun guy to have on the team, to be around. He's had some arm issues this year also, which he's working through, and the good thing is that he's continued to stay part of the team and get his work in, and we can get him in here and there. And the guys have such good chemistry on our team. They get along with each other. They support each other. They're there to pick each other up. And if someone's down, the next guy is stepping up and throwing him on his back. Yeah. So as a coach, you can't ask for much more. These are very coachable, teachable young men. They've obviously been raised great by their parents. And there's no question in my mind as they become into their later on in their future, they're all going to be very successful in whatever path they choose in life.
Yeah, I know. We talk after every game, and the theme that I'm getting from you the most is we got to stay grounded. We can't get lazy. Is it difficult to keep these guys grounded and lazy with the way that they've been producing? And not lazy.
Well, sometimes it takes a little bit more for us to keep our focus going. And it's not the fact that they're overlooking teams. It's the fact that, and you're going to have your naysayers, so they shouldn't be in Class B. And that's a whole new argument, a whole different argument. And Class B is where we belong. When you start looking at enrollment numbers and things like that, and it's not just a North Dakota thing. You have to look at Legion Baseball as a nationwide program. And we fit into, and it's not Class B nationwide, it's called Division II. We are a Division II baseball team nationwide. And people need to understand that. And this year, we have some very good baseball programs that come out of Section 1. And this year just happens to be a little bit of a down year. The teams are down a little bit, and I look at a few of these teams in another year or two from now, they're going to be very competitive again. So in some of those games, it takes a little bit more to get going and stay focused. Especially coming out of the high school season when you're playing a Fargo North or a West Fargo or so on and so forth. But the big thing is that we continue to have our goals set, and we know that we can't let those things happen. We want to treat every at-bat, take every pitch in every game, and improve on it. Learn to become better baseball players. It shouldn't matter, like I said the other night, if it says Wolverton on someone's jersey or if it says West Fargo. We want to make sure we become better baseball players.
What did it mean for you guys to go up to Fargo and win that tournament?
I think that was very good for our confidence to show that we can play with pretty much any team around the area. It would have been great to go 5-0. If you would have told me going into that tournament that we were going to go 4-1, lose to Fargo by 1 run, and still win the tournament, I would have said, well, we're probably going to have to play phenomenal baseball. And we did play very good baseball. There's no question about that. But we played. The guys showed up. They competed. They learned. They were confident, and they learned that hey, we can play with anyone as long as we play our game and do what we're capable of. Mm-hmm. You know, we threw strikes. We made plays behind it, and we had a lot of good at bats in that tournament.
Yeah. You know, when I take photos of the games, I'm parked right next to the opponent's dugout, and I get to listen to what they say, and it ranges from awe to just trying not to look too bad. You know, like they're scared of you guys, basically. And what does that mean? What does that say about your team? That you're just head and shoulders above everybody else.
Well, I'd say that none of that really matters until the end of the season. Mm-hmm. Because I'll tell you right now, we're not going to face any teams that are going to be saying that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And that's if we put ourselves in position to get to that stage, and we have a very good chance at that. And I tell these guys all the time, the only thing that's going to stop us is ourselves. Mm-hmm. But we don't ever try to make a team look bad. We've been in their shoes. 3 summers ago, we were 3-33. We were a doormat for teams. We got 10 runned, I think, almost every single game that we lost. It was sad. It was embarrassing. And the thing is that it wasn't any of the players' fault on our team. It was the fact that we were kids. We were kids playing young men. And I'll tell you what, I give all the credit in the world to some of these guys, like a Preston Kappes, Jeremy Bonchis, and Ryan Sheely, who were there on that team and have stuck it out ever since. And now they're starting to reap some of the benefits and be on the other side of it. Yeah. But they showed up after every game that summer and were excited to play and ready to play, and even knowing what the outcome was going to be that night at the ballpark. Yeah. And so, like I said, we don't ever try to show up another team. You know, we know when to stop running. We'll go station to station on hits.
Yeah, I've seen that.
We're not there to. It doesn't do us any good, and we want these teams to get better. So we have competitive games in the future also.
You talked about Bonchis and Kapp and Sheely. Those guys are your leaders, aren't they? What kind of leadership do they exhibit?
We have a lot of leaders on the team, but I like to refer to them because they've been through the thin, and now they're part of the thick, and just their presence being around. You know, Ryan coming back, and after a year of playing college baseball, he's able to talk to them a little bit and let some of the other guys know, hey, you know, these drills that we're doing here, yes, the coaches are telling us the truth. These are drills you work on in college day in and day out. Mm-hmm. He's got to, see what it takes to become a college baseball player and to get on a roster. You have a Jeremy Bonchis, who's a kid who has ice in his veins. You know, he's just an all-around athlete and a great personality. He's kind of that piece to the puzzle that just kind of pulls everyone on the team together. Preston Kapp, he's a bulldog out there. He's a kid who I can put anywhere, feel comfortable with it. He'll play any position. He's never negative. He's just a great kid to have on the team.
Yeah. Fielding consistency, is that the one thing?
Well, that was a concern of mine coming into this year. We're getting better. Defensively, we're getting better. We just need to make sure, and we had this problem last night, and we talked about it. When we're up big, we need to know how to play with the lead. I like to see aggressive plays when a guy goes diving for a ball and stuff, but when we're up by 12, 14 runs, we want to keep the ball in front of us then, get it in. If they score a run or two, it's not a big deal. We want to get outs. So it's little parts of the game where we have to continue to learn that it's one of those things where when you have good ball players, they're aggressive, they know how to get after the ball, and you have to kind of tighten the ropes on them a little bit and pull them back a little bit and say, hey, we just need to know the situations where we're at, and little things like that. But defensively overall, we're catching the ball, we're fielding the ball right now, and for the most part making good throws. And I think we're sitting at about a 940 fielding percentage, that's pretty impressive at the high school level.
Yeah. I know you don't like to get ahead of yourself, but talking with some of the guys, they're looking at not only wanting to win a state championship, but wanting to win the Central Plains too. What do you think about that?
Well, as you become a coach and you get a little older, I would give you the same answer when I was their age. Mm-hmm. But once again, my job as a coach is I don't ever want us to look too far ahead. Mm-hmm. certainly I want to do the same thing as they do. I want the same thing as they do, no question about it. But we're going to focus on the regular season. We got about a 4-chapter book. We talked about it the first practice this year. We got a 4-chapter book. We have our regular season in Chapter 1, and Chapter 2 we got our section tournament. We get through that, we go to Chapter 3, which is a state tournament, and then Chapter 4 we know we're in as the host team in the Central Plains Regional. Our goal is to win the state tournament and earn our way here, earn our way to the Central Plains and playing in our home park. What a special thing for these guys. And do we have the potential to make those things happen? I would like to think that we could put our team on the field against anyone that we're going to play and have a real good chance. But bottom line, baseball's a funny game, and you can't take innings off. You can't take plate appearances off. We need to do what we're capable of. Play the fundamentals. Have a plan at the plate. Throw strikes. Make the plays. And if we do that, we have a very good chance to put ourselves in a very good situation.
All right, that sounds great.